think it depends, but I would say normally kids that I've had for more than 1 year are students I know pretty well and have a longer relationship with. So I feel like I get to know them a little bit more due to the fact that I see them more. So I think there are definitely some students that you get to know better because you have them multiple times. I also think that there are some students who have such a personality that you get to know them immediately. And so after a couple of weeks, you feel like you know them really well. So I think it depends.
For years, for one reason or another, at different times, I get to know them, I get to see them as they grow up. It's always fun to think about the seniors now and think about how they were when they came in the door as ninth graders.
I personally think I have a stronger connection with students I've known longer, just because you see how their lives change and their interests change. But that might just be me thinking like, oh, I remember when they were younger and they didn't even like doing that. So that's what I think.
I'm hoping that they have gained better foundation in math, especially specific classes I teach. I'd like to think that the way that we do class, they're prepared with their calculator, they're prepared for having responsibilities, and they're prepared for being able to fill in notes or summarize things and complete their work and being able to explain themselves. In terms of being prepared to go out into the real world, I hope just through random conversations or the expectations I set that helps them prepare for what is expected for them later in life.
This year, as the librarian, I would say that I tried to help them with projects that they had. There were some who got a little stressed out about part of the process, and I tried to calm them down a little about it. When I was a teacher, I definitely geared my instruction to making sure that they were learning the kinds of high-level skills that they were going to need once they went to college.
I'm sure there's a percentage. I'm not sure what it is. I think it depends on the location or where geographically you are as to what that percentage would be. Here, I think that there's definitely some seniors who aren't going to college, but I think it's probably lower than maybe in different parts of the country. Why I don't think they're going is I think everyone has a niche, and college just might not be for them. And if they found something or a way to pursue what they want to do that's not college, then that's probably why they're not going.
A handful. Some just felt like they weren't ready, and so they're not going. A few were going to the military instead. So it wasn't that there weren't plans for after high school, it was just that it wasn't a college plan, but really fewer than 5 that I could think of.
You know, as a staff member, that's not necessarily something you bring up to a student unless they bring it up to you, what their plan is. But I do know some kids I'm still helping with figuring out community college or some sort of job. And, you know, it could be money, it could be interest level, and I don't think everyone needs to go to college. I really don't. It's something about based on what your interests are, what your abilities are, and just kind of following your passion.
I write them college recommendation letters, and I submit them either via Naviance or through the mail. I'm happy to help any student if they had questions about the college process, but I think the most influence or help I have is in the college recommendation area.
In previous years, and even once this year, I wrote recommendations. Obviously, that was a big part of helping students get into college. This year also, there were a few students who said, you know, would you mind looking over, you know, my resume or this or that for like a scholarship was one, and a couple just wanted me to take a look, so I helped them with that, but very few for the most part.
I think excitement, nervousness, anticipation, and fear, but they all come together into what it is to graduate, what it is to go from one big step in your life or one big area of your life to the new part that you're going into. So I think all those things go into graduation. I think in the end, though, that it's always the feeling of you're going on to something bigger, better, and where you want to be.
I think it really depends on the student. I think there are some who are just so thrilled to be moving on. There's like nothing that they're, looking back on. They're ready to go. And I think there are quite a few who, although they're excited about moving on, also have had such a wonderful experience here that part of them doesn't want to leave. And there are some who truthfully just want to stay and aren't ready to move on.
A lot of emotion, and it's mixed emotion. There's excitement, but believe it or not, there's sadness. There's, again, a lot of happiness and joy, and then the flip side of some worry and anxiety about going off to college or whatever their plans may be. So it's a funny time.
I think there's a lot more fear than people talk about, and that's okay. It's okay to be afraid and nervous about change, but you should know that everything's going to work out.
Really excited of graduating high school, but kind of already missing high school already.
In terms of graduating high school, I definitely feel ready to go, but at the same time, there's a lot of sentimental value I feel here, so I am excited to leave high school, but it's a little bit bittersweet.
It hasn't hit me yet that we're graduating so soon. Like, this is the last full week of high school before finals. And I think when the time comes, I'll feel nostalgia during graduation. But right now, I'm just ready to leave Princeton and go off to college.
It's nice when seniors do things as a group. I don't know if I necessarily think they're the two best things for them to do together as a group, but I'm not a huge fan of senior skip day. I didn't skip when I was a senior, but I think, again, it's dealing with your school climate. If it's a big thing, then it's nice to participate in those kind of things, but I don't think senior skip day is the best.
Senior skip day, if what they're doing is relaxing and they've had very few absences and so on and so forth, I think people can have a mental health day, and I don't see anything horrendously wrong with it. What they're doing is misbehaving in some way, or they've already had a lot of absences, and that's very irresponsible, then I don't think they're good.
Senior skip day. The senior skip day always worries me. Obviously, I don't want them missing school, but that's really not the worry. The worry is that they're being safe and using good judgment. Sometimes accompanied with senior skip day are other decisions that are not good decisions.
Senior prank, not a fan if it causes any kind of destruction, any kind of issue, especially if any custodial staff has to clean up after them. If it's something creative and clever that doesn't cause any kind of damage, I don't think it's necessarily bad, because again, I think it's nice to see a group gathering together to do something together. But I really am particular about what senior prank I think is okay. But otherwise, I think they should do good, big things together. The senior class should have events and traditions they do before they leave.
As far as the senior prank, I've seen some that were done in very sweet fashion, just sort of good humor, didn't cause any damage, and were just pretty funny. And then I've seen a lot that have caused damage, physical damage, really upset people, some that hurt animals, or some that really caused the custodians to have to do a lot of work. I don't believe in those kinds of things. So.
Prank. I don't want anyone to get hurt. I don't want anything to get damaged. I don't want anybody to be offended. And so if you set those parameters around a prank, it's really hard to think of a prank that doesn't have the potential to, where someone might get hurt or something might get damaged or someone might get offended. It's hard to do a prank that doesn't hit one of those areas, so I worry about those aspects of it.
I've participated in those myself. I think they're fine. I look forward to seeing what kids do. I just hope that every year they make a conscious effort to be safe. That's the only concern, and not to sound like someone who's not able to have fun, but you want kids to be safe. Having camp out front, I mean, that is hilarious. So we just want to make sure everyone's safe and they still get to enjoy the traditions.